Ooh. All right. I'm waiting for something out there, so I got a few minutes. Um, I've known a lot of people that had the opportunity to grow very old, like 90, 95, 96, this kind of thing. And I, had, I had one really good friend named Ed. He got to 96, but he isn't fit into what I'm about to talk about. He died when he turned 90. He was ready to go. Because the sad thing for him, he was a real happy, fun guy. But he saw two of his sons die from diseases. All of his brothers, family, everybody, all of his friends, all sorts of people. He said, "This just isn't right." He says, "I should have checked out 20 years ago to 15 years ago. I wouldn't have had to witness all this. It would have been easier." He says, "Living this long, you see all these people around you die. All the people you care about are gone, for the most part, or some of them." I got stuck with another kitten, so just ignore that. He actually, he was so old. He remembers he's from New Hampshire, and they used two Percheron draft horses to haul ice in the summer months to homes, and coal from the rail yards and haul coal to the homes in the winter months. And he remembers when the automobile came on, when they got rid of the Percherons, the draft horses. He was that old. He remembers his dad saying, or his dad told him a story. He goes, "I remember getting up one day, opening the newspaper. It says Custer is dead." He's one person away from someone who was alive during Custer. I love that. He was crazy. He had a pilot's license. He was a oh, I forgot about this. He was a There was a skate team, a professional skating team that used to go around the country, all around the world. I just can't think of their name. Ice Capades. He was a member of Ice Capades as a young man. I think he was also in the Navy, thinking of the Ice Capades. I said, "How'd you get in the Ice Capades?" He said, "We did a triple." He said, they came to town, and there was ice everywhere, and we had, because we had experience on this stuff. We got our skates on. We went to the show and did triple backflips, double or triple backflips, and they put us into the program. He skated in front of the Queen of England and all kinds of crazy stuff. And I remember he didn't speak English because he's from New Hampshire. He says it might have well been in Canada. But he said the way the culture was back then, he didn't speak English till he was 12. He was born in New Hampshire. I bring this up because I've known a lot of people that lived in their 90s. And they all have the same thing in common, except for Ed. He was a wild one. And he'd been in all kinds of surgeries and stuff. But most of these people I've met that have been who lived to be, really old age, they all had these things in common. None of them were overweight. Okay. But that's not the main thing I bring up. I mean, they're all slender. Somebody might say we're skinny. Many of them smoked. Many of them drank. But the one thing they all did the same, they did not eat a lot. They were not big eaters. Or if they were big eaters, they didn't eat but one meal a day. And now people talk about fasting, intermittent fasting, all this stuff. Very interesting. But the one thing I remember from all these people, 95, 96, 97, whatever, they didn't eat much. And they always had a focus on fiber. You say, well, okay, yeah, I'll just eat fewer cheeseburgers. Well, no, they didn't eat a whole lot of meat. Because typically the older system, it's harder to digest. So they focused more of their meal on high fiber, fruits and vegetables. I just remember that. We'd have them over, they'd eat a small plate of something, and that's it. Now, the other friends that I've had that ate everything all the time, they didn't hit 80. That didn't happen. Not a lot of you don't have fat people at 85, 90. That don't happen. No offense, that's just the way it is. That's the short-term plan. But these people here that I knew that were, like I said, some of them smoked, some of them drank, but they did not eat a whole bunch. A lot of people that subscribe to all these different forms of fasting is that once you've eaten whatever it is, and you give your body all that time to digest it and deal with it before loading up your gut again with more food, there's energy issue there, and as long as anytime you're digesting, you're not you're not healing, so to speak. So if I had a big cheeseburger for lunch, I have another big meal for dinner, I'm still digesting that original meal. It's just a lot of work for your body. But I just wanted, okay, this is short. I was thinking of that the other day. I've had a lot of friends that were really old. And the common denominator amongst all of them is they weren't, like I said, they had some unhealthy habits, but none of them were big eaters. Most of them were one meal a day. They might eat a lunch and that's it, or go all day and eat a dinner and that's it. And typically we're focused on higher fiber, more fiber, keep things moving. Something you might learn there. One thing my old friend Eddie always said, he goes, I'd see him, and he used to play cards with my grandfather. My grandfather died at like 85. Eddie for a long time he'd play. My Eddie was just in terrible shape. He had many surgeries. His neck was all froze up. He couldn't swing a golf club. He was just in terrible shape, but he still drove, but he shouldn't have. But he was, and he just looked like, God, this guy's gonna die any day. Sharp as a tack. I mean, this guy remembered things I had said to him 5, 6, 7 years prior. He said, "You know, you're gonna take me to see your horse. Remember, you said you take me to see your horse. I know it's been hot. You don't take you out there. It's hot." I forgot about these conversations. He never forgot anything. This is at 95. But he used to talk about my grandpa. Oh, I remember, out there playing gin with your grandfather. He said, your grandfather cheat all the time. And he let my grandfather cheat like hell. Anyway, the ones that go long don't eat much. Oh, another thing Ed said, I said, hey, Ed, how you doing? You won't believe what happened today. I said, oh, what's that? He says, I woke up. Love you, God bless.